To the show. Thank you so much for being here today. Listen. So you see the big banner here, True Crime with Tamron Hall. So, you know, I've done Deadline Crime for 6 seasons, a reporter. Coming soon, I'm actually working on a new series with Hulu because a big part of what I do in addition to this talk show is advocate for survivors of violence, domestic violence, and really try to bring heart to the fact that crime impacts all of us in different ways. When I started in my show, Deadline Crime, I used to tell people, listen, I don't want to do glam crime. I want people to know that somebody didn't go home to their families, somebody won't celebrate another birthday, that this is a human, not a story. And so today we are digging into cases that have caught my eye recently, starting with an incredible story of twin sisters, Andrea Lynn and Angela Williams, and the case that sent shockwaves through their hometown of Bonne Terre, Missouri. So back in October 1989, their father, Jimmy Wade Martin, was murdered. And now there's been a break in the case, but it's because this family stuck together and they said, we want justice. Take a look at their story. In 1989, twin sisters Angela Williams and Andrea Lynn were just 11 years old when their beloved father, Jimmy Wade Martin, was found murdered. He was fatally struck in the head during a bar fight at the local tavern.
I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna, tell my girls?
The killing of their father rocked the small town of Bonne Terre, Missouri. Police made an arrest, but prosecutors found the evidence inconclusive, and the case was dismissed, and then it went cold. Angela and Andrea were forced to grow up without their father and without justice for his death. 3 decades later, still devastated by the loss and haunted by their dad's killer getting away, the sisters took matters into their own hands. In 2020, along with their cousins Sean Lee Martin and Chris Halsey, the family created a podcast called Small Town Forgotten.
You can just let
their mission, finding and piecing together details and evidence in Jimmy Wade's murder.
We're the only voice that he has, and I'm not stopping. And if I hurt your feelings, so be it.
The podcast caught the attention of prosecutors and resulted in the case being officially reopened. 35 years after their father was murdered, the police finally made an arrest in the case because of their dedication. Please welcome Jimmy Wade Martin's daughters, Andrea Lynn and Angela Williams, to our show. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. You can already hear from this audience. They are inspired because I think people always wonder, like, how far you would go for justice. How far would you go for family? Y'all were only 11 years old when you got the news of your father's death. Do you remember, because your kids at that, you're babies, do you remember what was happening around that time? Andrea?
Yeah, I guess whenever this first happened, we stayed the night with a friend and we went to my grandma's house, and so we went to my grandma's house, and we thought we were going shopping. And so we walk in, and it's like this memory plays in slow motion, because I remember exactly.
We can see everybody's, like, how their faces
where they were sitting,
their expressions, and
it was very somber. It was very somber in the room, so we knew something was wrong.
Let me just tell you, it's not lost on me, the question I just asked you. It's your dad. As I said at the beginning, this is not a story, it's just your dad.
Yes.
You were 11 years old, so you are able, they tell you, you remember how rooms smell, you remember the looks that people looked at you.
Yes.
You remember all of this, so you recognize that there was a great loss.
Yes.
Something wasn't right. They don't like to tell kids first,
Right,
but you
right.
walk in a room and you know
Yes.
something is not right.
Yes.
But we went about our day like nothing happened.
Like we thought, not that we thought our mom was a liar. 'Cause, I mean, we know my mom would not lie to us, but she set us down and said, something has happened to your dad. You know, he passed. And I remember thinking, she's crazy.
he said he's picking us up.
yeah,
gonna
he's
be
going to
here
be
today.
here.
And it wasn't until, as I understand, you saw your dad in an open casket that you realized it. And Andrea, he was buried with a watch.
Yes, I had a Swatch watch. And I don't know if back in the 80s, you know, you could turn them upside down or flip them. And he always had it on backwards. And he's like,
And he would joke with us.
yeah, and
He'd
he's
be
like, how am I supposed to remember that?
and he'd be
So-
like, does it go this way? Does it
Yeah.
go this way? And
So when we went to the funeral home, I asked my mom if we could put it on him because it was this little piece that popped off. And
I think as an 11-year-old, like that was our defense mechanism, was denial. Because we didn't believe it until that moment. And my mom tells a story of how Andrea remembers all the bruises that makeup couldn't cover.
yeah. So,
In the 35 years since your father's murder, there had been one prior arrest. Someone by the name of David Brian White was originally arrested, charged in '89. But 3 years later, just days before the trial, the case was dismissed.
Correct.
So your understanding at this time was that they had somebody, this person was let go for whatever reason. What made you, as time went on, say, I'm not just gonna sit here and wait for the authorities to give us an answer?
right.
Right.
So me and my son had went on a trip, and we stopped and got the Fergie CD. And every time I played Big Girls Don't Cry, he would look out the window. And I guess I finally was like, it bothered me he wouldn't tell me what was wrong. And I said, why don't you, because we were cleaning his room, listening to CD, I said, why don't you write me a note, what's going on or what's wrong with you? And go outside and play, and when you're outside, I'll read the note. And he was like, okay.
And it said in the note?
Basically, like, big girls don't cry, but I know you do. You know?
And this is so in front of me here. You guys call this Jimmy's Bible.
Jimmy's
Yes.
Bible, yes.
And in it, it's your father's autopsy, the police and coroner's report. You went door to door. So this literally is everything that they could find on their own
Correct.
that involved
And
your-
that's the first one. We have two of those, actually.
You have two
Yes.
of these.
Yes.
Yeah.
You even retraced your father's steps that night.
Yeah.
And there were challenges getting some of this information.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
yeah.